I have not even thought this through. The topics that I have that I could talk about that are up my sleeve. These computers, assembly line rollout to a client, automating of SID change and
DougBot said,
reactivation of
"Hey, is this thing
Windows
on?"
license. That was SpeakerBot confirmation. Oh, let me get my own confirmation of audio. Yeah, it's there. And oh, some funny things happening with the AI Studio. I There was another one that I was on my mind about an hour ago. I'm trying to remember what it was. But what's most important? What happens first? Oh, we've got to get a better wording for it too. So let's see if chat. Oh, you know what? I owe chuckle points to somebody. How far along are we here? 1 minute. I owe chuckle points. Darren Gilhome. See, I hadn't even looked at chat before starting the show. And you know I was a few minutes late. Some of you know that. Yeah, I got a chuckle out of all of this. Darren Gilhome trying to get to #1 in YouTube. So he's showing #2. Who's #1 at that time? Scott. How was Scott at the top? Well, right now they're all tied. A bunch of them are tied. This is Darren Gilhome. See, here the names show differently in here than they show up in here. Such as YouTube. All right, so let's get an @ Darren Gilhome. Oh, it's not. Oh, because maybe Darren hasn't spoken up since the show started. He won't be on the participants list if he hasn't spoken up since the show started. And he sometimes does that. He puts in comments before the show, and then maybe he's not even here during the show. There he is. He just showed up. I see his new chat comment. So, oh, there it is. Oh, was it already on here, or did it just pop in? These are alphabetical, so maybe it did just pop in front of my eyes. So hello to Ken Stout, Chris Garrett, Darren Gilhome, Doman 2000, DougBot, Greg M, Live Windows Training, DougBetts, and Phil Stodd and Scott. Those are the people showing up.
Read chat, please.
On the participants list right now. I'm going to keep that there for a minute because when somebody new shows up, I want to see, do they just appear right here? As I'm looking at chat over on OBS, I'm not seeing a name that's not already on this participants list. That last read chat, please, was Ken Stout saying, read my comment at 5 minutes after the hour. I'm going to guess. I'm going to take a guess at what it is. I'm going to guess that it has to do with what is the top priority for this show. And let's see if he's got a better wording for it than we did last week. Ran Israel says, okay, here it goes. I think he just showed up on the list here because I don't think he was there. Ghetto Fortnite shows up. Hello, Josh.
Read chat, please.
Zvi Menor just showed up. Hello, no points, no faults, he says. Yeah, so they show up interactively right here. I can see who is active in chat. And somebody else just popped in, but I can't tell who it was until I look through the list. It was Alice. When I look over at OBS, I can see a recent chat because I'm looking at the chat in OBS. So everybody who's showing up on this list at any moment in time is currently getting 50 points per minute as long as they stay on this list. If 5 minutes goes by and you haven't put in a chat comment, you're no longer on this list. You're no longer earning 50 points per minute. Will those points ever count for something? Yes, they will. You're not going to redeem them for valuable prizes at the gift store on your way out of the theater. But yeah, there will be something to them. All right, so let's come out of here. And if you're watching this video right now, if you're watching live, see if somebody's watching this on replay and I say, are you watching it right now? They look at the screen and say, yeah, I'm watching it right now. If you're not watching it during the live stream, then what I'm about to say doesn't count. If you're watching the live stream and you find that you can't chat because down on the chat line down here, Well, you don't see it this way, right? You see it over here next to the video. Instead of chat as approved user, if you're seeing something that says, let's see, what does it say? It says live commentary mode, something like that. I got to turn off my picture for you to see that. Now let's get rid of that picture-in-picture stuff. Yeah, if you see live commentary mode down here, that means you're not approved for the chat room. If you would go on to any of my videos, you can go do it now, any of my prior videos, and ask for approval for the chat room. And then hopefully somebody in chat will remind me during the course of the show to go look and see if there are any requests for chat room approval. They won't know it because they can't tell from all of my videos if there's anything there. But what I can do at that point is I can come over here to my community tab. And if you've made a comment on any of my videos, it'll show up here. I'll have to refresh this page to see it. And I can give you approval for the chat room. Now get to Ken Stout's comment before he starts whining and complaining again. Let's see, not there. I got to get over here. Does this guy know what he's doing? I saw somebody give that on the collaboration video that Carrie and I did Tuesday this week. He was doing some AI searches about my name, and I asked him, see if there's any memes, and that should have been one of them. Does this guy know what he's doing? Because that is a meme around here. So he said, I think he said a few minutes after the show started, 2-3 minutes after the show started, something like that. 4 points late. DougBot should remove points. 4 points late. 4 points late. I guess he's referring to minutes, 4 and 4. So 4 points late, DougBot. So, okay, since Ken Stout requested that I remove points from him for being late, I'll do that. We all know that's not what Ken meant, right? Is Ken known for being clear about what he means? I think he means, I think he meant should remove points from me, but that's not what he said. That's not what he requested. Let's see, when did he say?
Read chat, please.
Oh, I give up. And then read chat was Zvi Manor says, at remember. Oh, I didn't do the at. Thank you. Very good, Zvi. We'll see here. Zvi should get points for that, right? He wants 5 minutes after the hour, so I got to get to that. So at Zvi gets, let's see, what one should that be? That was a good reminder. We'll give the 200 on that. And then that means for Ken, I've got to do, what was he said? -3 points? I think that's what he said. So then at, oh no, I got to start with the at sign. At Ken Stout, grab his name that way. I have to give another at symbol just because he has to be weird.
Read
And
chat,
then
please.
press the money button. And you forgot to, no, I haven't forgot. It's still on my mental awareness. 5 minutes after the hour, I figured it's going to be what's most important. We'll get there. We'll get there. Just keep your panties on. Did I get points for making myself chuckle? 5 minutes after. Tech questions from email and or chat. Okay, that's much improved. Tech question, that's much improved, but we're still not quite there. I'm going to go ahead and give you some points for that. I'm going to give you 65.1314 points. Whoops, I got to start with his name. At Ken Stout. This takes so long to do. People are getting bored. I'm losing them. So we're going to add, what I don't know, 67.1314 points for that. And let's see if that worked. There we go. Yeah, for taking a crack at it. Let's see. Well, wait a minute. That was add points. Where's the confirmation? I did the double at. Didn't like that. Let's take and grab all that. Copy that again. And let's just do 67 points. See if that works better. Maybe it didn't like the decimal point. I don't know. Yeah, there it went. Did not like the decimal point. I saw something about Doug having a customer like that. Oh, Doug had a client like this he talked about in the past. Payment is not going to happen until things are fixed, something along those lines. It looks like that's a conversation between Greg and Longdog. If I'm not asked to participate in that, I'm not going to. Because that's over several. It'd take me too long to get caught up with it. Now I do have in my email folder flagged for today, I have 13 the American way of doing the 3. I don't get this. For 13 emails in my folder. Steve Dodd, Sam Lazar, Karen Gill. The highest number of those are from Steve Dodd. Now, Steve Dodd and Sam Lazar, I'm not sure if they still have open issues, if they still have trouble with those. I did not go through and review them to remind myself all the detail of those. If you're in chat and want to continue the conversation, let me know. Darren Gilholm puts the number 13 in a whole bunch of times. Okay. Karen Gill, what was that about? Oh yeah, Karen Gill had asked a question in comments about Sage 50 transferring from one laptop to another, and I had give him some. Oh, I know. I had done this. I did this totally by email. There was nothing on live stream about it. I have started responding to some people's technical issues, troubles that they're actually having with their computers that's causing them grief. I've been responding by email, which is not a normal thing for this channel, but I did that because they're actually having an issue that was causing them trouble, and I wasn't going to be doing a live stream for a while. I could have, but I've just been too slammed. So I sent him some stuff. He said he was going to try it and get back to me. I haven't heard back from him. All right, let's see. How did this work out with Ken? Ken has 614 points. I don't think he ever lost the points that I tried to take away from him. Did he get the points that I tried to give to him? Yeah, I think he did. Let's see. Now, can I go back to participants and recognize names that I haven't said hello to yet? I think Arnold Albert, hello. David Graham. David Graham, did you ever get that peer-to-peer networking worked out where you're connecting? Yeah, I think you sent me an email saying a friend or a coworker or somebody else resolved it. If you don't mind, give me a little reminder summary. I'd appreciate that. John Downey. I think I've called out everybody's names. I want to nail this down. Here's another venture in AI. Adventure in AI. By the way, I have my email over here on the right. I closed down my other tabs that are never part of the show.
Yes, affirmative.
Trying to reduce the number of things that I can make mistakes on. So here's David Graham. Something weird happened to me yesterday. All my Edge browsers closed and wouldn't stay open on all my machines at once. It's fixed now. Did you do anything to fix it? Did it just come back by itself? All my Edge browsers closed, would not stay open on all my machines at once. Yeah, that's weird. Hello, Jim. Stopping to say hi. Stopping in to say I can't stick around. Errands to run. Okay. Have a good day of errands. Yeah, these conversations with the AIs, they can get lengthy. And David says it just came back. Welcome back, Carter. Now, let's get to Ken's verbiage. None of my things up my sleeve are must talk about today. I did not see the trader. Ken Stout did not see the trader. I did do a trader today, just because I was in the mood to do it. 5 minutes after the hour. Oh yeah, here it is. Tech questions, email or chat. I've started writing a book, a fictional story with AI, just as a way to get my mind off of all of the clutter that was in my head. No intention to follow through with the book. It was kind of a, I guess you'd call it a young adult, coming of age, high school kids, a little bit of sci-fi twist. Yeah, anyway, it was really good at getting my mind off of all of the clutter that was going on. All right, so I think I did a copy of that. Take off screen to come over here to start a new chat. Okay. On my YouTube channel, I do live streams, and at the beginning of each live stream, I like to focus. The main purpose of the stream, or what takes priority, is to respond to questions about problems people are actually having with their Windows computers currently. These questions can come in by email or comments on any of my videos or in the chat room. Period. I need a really convenient, simple way of wording this so that when I ask the people on the live stream what is the most important thing, they can simply respond with a phrase that will cover those bases. What ideas do you have? Control Enter. I don't worry about punctuation. I don't worry about fixing typos. Can usually figure it out. See if it can give us a phrase. Easy to chant? What was that? Category 1, short, punchy, easy to chant. Your problems first. My top recommendation is personal direct. Yeah, it's not specific enough. Real help, right? Not specific enough. Because that really doesn't say what I'm trying to say. No, you don't get it. No, you don't get it. No. That was a total fail. You don't understand what I'm getting at all. Period. Who taught you to understand humans anyway? Question mark. I want something that gets across. The important thing is having to do with actual problems people are having with their Windows computers. Period. All the rest of your suggestions just invite too many other things that are not really on point. Period. I don't care if they have a problem finding the cheapest gas in town. Period. I don't care if their battery is not charging. I don't. Period. So try again. See there how I noticed that speech to text didn't miss the first couple words of a sentence, so I just added them to the end. Hey, artificial AI. No, artificial intelligence, not artificial AI. Artificial AI would be a human pretending to be AI. Darren Gilholm says, where are my points? Do I owe you points, or are you just referring to, oh, did you just come back and after all that clutter that you did, you're expecting to have YouTube points? Wow,
Read
look
chat,
at,
please.
oh, that's because I'm in Ken Stout's. That's why he's got all that stuff. Scott, fixing questions and problems, email, chat, channel comments, fixing questions and problems. Close, close. Fixing questions and problems. Close, close because we're the Doug in me, the real Doug, the authentic Doug says, are we really trying to fix questions? But I think you're onto something. Wait for them to respond. Let's see. That was a total fail. I was a little bit harsh, right? You're absolutely right. I apologize. My first answer completely missed the crucial detail. Thank you for the direct feedback. I understand now. Yeah, we'll see about that. The goal isn't just to focus on problems, it's to laser focus on technical Windows computer problems. Specifically, the phrase needs to act as a filter, signaling to everyone that we're here to troubleshoot hardware and software issues, not discuss gas prices or anything else. I'm glad it included the word prices. Not just say we're here to discuss gas. Let's try this again with a sharp focus. Your PC problems, real Windows issues, the fix. Nah, still not getting it. I think I'm done with AI for this. Crushing Windows bugs. Okay. That was... Scott in the chat room suggested this.
Read
think
chat, please.
I think I copied it. Yeah. And then Control Enter to select that. Deconstructing the suggestion, dissecting Scott's phrase, distilling the essence, expand model views, yada, yada. That last read chat was Ran Israel coming up with another alternative. Responding to people's Windows technical issues via Let's see. Ran Israel suggested this. I like it better than what has been said so far, although I also like the prior one. Okay, let's see. That was
please.
Ran Israel and who's the other? Oh, Arnold Albert. Fixing PC problems from clients, emails, or chat. Clients are not really clients, but viewers. But fixing PC. Okay, Arnold Albert.
Read chat, please.
Arnold Albert suggested this.
Read chat, please.
I'm not going to bother fixing that space. Never send a machine to do a human's job. Oh man, I have caught out the AIs being wrong so many times, but they've caught me as being wrong too. Being such a Doug, was that, you calling that a priority for the channel? Or you're just saying that. Yeah, we got to move on away from this, don't we? Give me the names of the people who have made suggestions from my chat room. And then I click this arrow here to go down to the next prompt. Oh, I have got to get caught up. Scott, Rand Israel, Arnold Albert. So, at Scott. And then Rand Israel, 200 points. And got the memory of I don't know what to say. Arnold. Albert. Thank you for contributing. Yeah, so anyway, maybe we're getting closer on it, but we got to move along to something else.
Chat, please.
When the AI responds with "you forgot the magic word" would be the time to panic. Yeah, it's never done that. It's never done that. I have got really, really rude in my responses to AI at times, and it comes back with its tail between its legs, apologizing up a storm. It's really kind of entertaining because I would never do that. I would never speak that way to a human being. Well, except for that time. Well, yeah. So maybe a couple times. Do I have any actual outstanding problems from comments? Yes, there's something in comments. Let's go over and get to comments. Now, I have, full disclosure, I have given thumbs up and hearts to some comments that I'm not holding for the show. What I'm holding for the show is actual issues to respond with during a live show. And some of these in here don't even qualify for that. And there's also been, I guess I should say this too. There's been some comments that I gave the thumbs up and the heart simply to get them off my list. And I did not want to be implying that I agree with the comment. So if anybody's seen any of that stuff going on, please don't assume because I did a heart and a thumbs up that I necessarily agree with the comment. There are some people out there that just shouldn't be here. But I leave their comments. Now, hit video link. It's been a while since I've done this, right? For a video link. So I got to go hit a reply, give them a link to this point in today's video. Mason OCHS. Maybe that stands for Clovis High School. All right. That's where my daughter went. Not likely. Let's zoom up a little bit, zoom in a little bit. All right. Zoom in, not zoom up. My laptop that I just got out of the box isn't pulling up networks to connect to like yours at 8 minutes, 44 seconds. Any suggestions how to fix? Never mind, I saw how you bypassed it. But then also, does the Wi-Fi setup work after you've set the laptop up? So what he's referring to here, I've got this video queued up at this point. So this was an unboxing video. And at this point during the setup, it's showing Wi-Fi's that it detects that I can connect to. And he's not seeing that on his laptop. But then apparently he made that comment at that point in the video, and then he continued watching the video and saw how we bypassed being forced to use a Microsoft account. So he did that. So I'm guessing Mason is not highly experienced with doing out-of-box experience and bypassing the Microsoft account and such, and did it. So he's asked this question: does the Wi-Fi setup work after you set up the laptop? Well, this was from 23 hours ago. I'm guessing he's discovered that by now, he or she, that the Wi-Fi is probably working after getting to the Windows desktop. But Mason didn't give me an update to that, so I don't know. I think basically the answer is just continue on and see if you have it. If you can't connect to Wi-Fi, then that's the problem to come back to us with. But thank you for making the comment and letting me know. It sounds like you're actually following my video as you're doing your unboxing and setup. That's fun. And Mason, if you come and show up during a live stream, I'm going to go ahead and approve you for the chat room, so you'll be able to chat. I don't always do that based off of someone just asking a question. But this implies to me that you might not be aware, Mason, that what we do around here is, well, during the summer, we're here every Saturday. After the summer's over, hopefully I'm going to get back to 6 days a week. And we're here specifically to respond to people's issues and troubles that they're having with their Windows computers. And you can ask questions by sending an email to this address, or by leaving a comment on any of my video, or asking a question in the chat room during a live show. And that is the first priority of this channel. So hopefully we might hear back from you another time. And you don't have to be a regular viewer to send a question. You can, at any time, you can save my email address and send a question. I will respond to that email with a link, just like I'm responding to your comment here, so that you'll be able to get your answer without even being a regular viewer. You don't have to be a subscriber. Parker Morris, let's see, just an FYI, there's a sound driver problem with the latest Windows 11 update. If that particular computer that you or a viewer is dealing with is an HP Pavilion that has an Intel SST sound driver, I would recommend using the AVG driver updater, because that's not the only driver for sale that would need to be updated. That would not be the only driver. I'm trying to figure out what the other word would be for that. I'll get to your question, John Downey, in a little bit. Good question, I think. I didn't finish speed reading it. The other one would be the display audio driver that needs to be updated. I guess it just means that's not the only driver that would need to be updated, that by virtue of this update. Having a problem with it. Here's the error that I was getting before I fixed it today. Intel high definition, Intel audio, yada, yada, not read it through all that. I fixed it today with the help of another technician and the AVG driver updater. Here's a link to the AVG driver updater. My preference would be go to the HP site and get the proper driver from there. Although I think the implication is that a Windows update broke that and it's not working. I'd also want to check to see optional updates. Do a check for updates and check optional updates. See if HP has already put something out there through the Windows update process. I'm not a big fan of using third-party drivers, but it's been working for you. You like it, that's fine. And somebody else may choose to go that way. So thank you for providing that. And I don't think Parker's in chat, is he? Let's go do a Control F Parker. If he was, I'd give him some points. Once I get through my summer of revamping the channel, I will be able to award points to people who are not currently in the chat room. That, because what there'll be is points for the comments, for people who participate in comments on videos rather than the chat room. So I need to get to John Downey's question, but let's make sure I have dispensed with this. You know what? I didn't do the video link for that. So let's I'm going to use the last one that I did. And I think Parker knows to keep watching. Oh, Let's do this. Parker, I responded to your comment after this timestamp. It's in the next response. There. I love speech to text. Am I going to need to come back to here? Yeah, perhaps for that one for Sam, although that might be, I think that might be as the emails that I have with Sam. John Downey. Here we go. Another thing that I'm going to have after the revamp, I'm intending to have, you know, promises from a Doug is worth what? Is to not come to this chat window, but to be able to call them up on screen in a better appearing method. Tech question. I have a Dell Precision 7530 8th generation processor with USB-C port. I cannot charge through USB-C. The barrel charger works. Not a priority. I just take an extra charger. Is that USB-C port designed for charging the computer? USB-C ports will not all charge a laptop. They have to be specifically for that purpose. Sometimes I'll have the letters PD or something along those lines for power delivery. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's for charging the computer from that port. That could be power delivery powering from that port, I think. Let's see what AI Studio says about that one. See, I can safely go there and then come over to here, then come up here, click on chat. That'll get me a new chat and say this. Now, I'm pretending to be the person with the problem here, right? I don't have to tell it I don't have to tell it that this came from a viewer on my live show. Because it doesn't remember. In my next chat, it's not going to remember that I have a Dell Precision 7530. Because these chats are all isolated from each other. John says, I have no idea. May not be designed for charging. I think that's the case. But let's see if we learn a little bit more about how this works. Excellent question. This is a very common scenario. High performance laptops. Answer almost certainly comes down one key factor, power requirements. Short answer, 99%. Most likely reason, it's a power hungry mobile workstation shipped with a 180 watt barrel charger. Yes, USB power delivery tops out at 100 watts. So USB could not possibly provide enough power for your laptop. Boom. I think that's the end of conversation. That's a deal stopper right there. Yeah. The most you're going to get charging a laptop, providing power to a laptop through a USB-C port would be 100 watts. Your laptop is intelligent enough to know the standard 65 watt, 100 watt USB charger isn't enough. Yeah, I don't need to read through all this. But thank you for the question. Oh, yeah, thank you for the question. That means I should award points for asking a question. Now, does that actually qualify as a problem he's actually having with his computer now? Yeah, sort of. Now, he's just taking any old USB and plugging into it. He didn't get a USB charger with the laptop. So that's another thing is if you have a laptop that can be charged by USB port, that doesn't mean you can just take any USB-C. You can't just take any charger and plug a USB-C cable into it and expect that to work. You need to be using preferably the charger that is designed for that computer. All right. Wasn't there another read chat recently? Why is there's something on my mind that I need to get to. Let's do the auto scroll. Or not. Oh, I'm at the bottom already. That's why I won't go down further. Supplying power out does not necessarily mean it can be charged. Absolutely. Correct. No, I can't take your call right now. Why won't it even go
Read
up?
chat, please.
Not a computer technician. Why do you have extra glasses? Do I have? Oh, there. All right. When I'm around the house, I like using these because I can take them off. And I used to just have glasses everywhere in the house, but then I'd carry them off somewhere else and then wind up not having them where I wanted them.
Read chat, please.
So then recently I started using this, but this doesn't work well with my headset. So when I'm doing the show, I'd rather use glasses that don't have the lanyard. And what I ought to be doing is taking that off. Oh, I know what the other thing I was supposed to do is to give points for the question. It was John Downey, right? There's another read chat. Checking to confirm. And then another thing that I'll have in the new system is a much easier way to be awarding points. Much quicker, simpler. I'm basically building a space shuttle of a YouTube live show. And there's going to be people, there's going to be, that's all, folks. There's going to be people who say, this is Doug overthinking it again. No, I like doing technically interesting things. So let's see. So brought a question, brought a tech question to the show. Let's go more points for that. 1,000 points there. You know, there was a recent read chat. David Graham. What would happen if you put a power supplying USB into USB-C power delivery port? Would it let the smoke out? I think it would keep the smoke inside. Kind of like a turbocharger effect where the exhaust makes the device run faster. What would happen if you put a power supplying USB into a USB-C power delivery port? Now, I think it's all intelligent enough that it would
Read chat, please.
Isn't going to damage anything. But let's ask here. That last read chat was John Downey. I think you're right. It's not designed for USB-C. Thanks for the points. Says, see, AI doesn't care. You can misspell things. I'm an artificial AI or a virtual AI. Pretend to be an AI. So I understand when he says thanks for the points, he meant points. So now, see, when I put that in, it has responded to it, but it's down lower. So I have to click on this, scroll to next prompt. Just kind of a weird thing. What would happen if you put a power supply, yada, yada? And it responds, that's a fantastic, very logical question. So, David Graham was that saying that. No, it would not let the smoke out. The engineers who designed anticipate this exact scenario, smart to prevent damage. You connect two power supplying devices with a proper USB-C cable. Handshake, negotiation, initial connection, hello, hey, hi, how you doing? Role negotiation, deciding who's in charge. Bob, who's in charge? Charles? Is that his name? Is it Charles in charge? I think so. The power contract, I can't think of any cultural, what do you call it? Cultural thing for that. Current cultural pop culture reference. I don't know. What would happen in practice? The important caveat. Okay, so that was David Graham. And we're going to do 200 on that. Not an actual problem that you're having with the computer, but an interesting question. Yeah. Did not go to the cabin this last week. Trying to catch up on stuff. I've got this assembly line going here with 4 computers for a client. I've got another 4. You saw them stacked. You saw 8 computers stacked. This is 4 of them, finally getting around to them. And so I restore images on each of them. And then I'm working on this batch file automated process for changing the SID on them, because that's been fixed. Last time I talked to you about the SID changer, it was broken by virtue of a conflict with a Windows update. Well, they finally got that fixed. I don't know how they got it fixed a couple months ago, probably. And then also what it's called, react. It's not reactivate, but something the Windows license key, so that's distinguished between the computers and not using the one that came from the original computer. And so I'm using AI to create these batch files, 2 batch files, one that's at the beginning of the process and there's a reboot. Then we run the second batch file and it keeps a log of the process, shows what the ID is before and after the process. We're having some troubles with it and it's taken longer than I would have expected. So that is a work in progress. You're welcome, David. So what happens next with those computers is that'll complete the lab work for those. Then I take them to my client's office with a switch, set them at a convenient place. I already have my unattended remote connection set up for them. And then I do Fabs auto backup on the source computer, the source user's computer, to get their user profile, copy it through the network to the destination computer, one of these 4, and restore that profile and do a couple of tweaks that are needed. I have some Excel customizations and some Word customizations that I have those settings stored, exported that I want, and stored in a file in my folder that is used for processing these base images to the new computer, so that when the user comes back to their desk, they're going to wind up seeing exactly the desktop that they're used to seeing. In the process, if they have extra clutter on their screen, there's some of the things that I know I can delete. I'll just delete them. I'm not going to talk with the end user about the ones that I know are irrelevant to them, such as sometimes there's leftover logs from a prior Fabs auto backup restore. They don't need those. Sometimes they're storing actual client content on their desktop. So I'll have a conversation with them about that. Is that actual important content, or do you just use that as a temporary space? Sometimes they have files on their desktop that they use as templates for starting points, and then they store the edited versions on the server so they're okay. I want to know if they're actually storing important content that needs to be backed up on their desktop. And if the answer is yes, then what we'll do is train them to store those on the network drive and put shortcuts on their desktop. If I don't think that the person is capable of coming up to that speed, then I'm going to turn OneDrive on for that computer just for the desktop, so that their desktop content is backed up that way. So that gives you a little bit of an update on what I'm going through for those. Yeah, mute button worked. I think I have caught all of the read chat, please. If I have not, please direct my attention to it. I am so tired of scrolling through all these, but what I will do is go look for the oranges. And hello, David Graham. Let's do that and see if I can respond specifically to people who have hit me in orange. I'll go up arrow to the first one. There's the first one, was adding points. Oh, the DougBot isn't. No, that's right. It should be me, LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts, that adds the points, but then DougBot should be responding. Yeah, good DougBot. Good DougBot. And the -3 points did not work. You skated on that one because I did. Wait a minute, there's the double ads. Oh no, you did get that. You did lose the points on that. Oh, goody. That one did not work. That one worked. Oh, I saw somebody ask about points redemption, something or other. I don't remember that question. Greg M., have you seen any EDU being offered up to eligible computers not in the Insider program? What's EDU? I could make something up. And see, you know that because you've been doing stuff in that arena. It's not fair to think that I know all acronyms related to computers. ESU, Greg M. corrects ESU. Oh, extended service agreement? No, ESU. Offered up to eligible computers not in the Insider program. Eligible computers. Yeah, I'm still not. ESU. Yeah, Londog, I was thinking education for EDU. Am I going to have to go ask the AI? EIAIO. Extended security updates, he clarifies.
Read chat, please.
Because EDU stands for extended security updates. Why did you not figure that, Doug? Oh, he corrected, it's ESU, extended security updates, being offered up to eligible computers. Extended security updates. Well, yeah, isn't that $40 per year thing? For Windows 10? I wouldn't, if it has come across if it came up on a screen, I would just dismiss it. I don't care at all about that. I'm not going to be taking advantage of that. So maybe you're saying when I look at a Windows 10 computer, have I seen a notice for it? It's possible that I have and just totally ignored it. But I don't ever go into a Windows 10 update screen and click check for updates because those all just happen automatically. I do not manually go check on them. It's my opinion, it's a waste of time until you have a problem. And I never do. Never do. If I did occasionally have a problem, then I would be checking up on it, but I never do. Let's see, don't I remember hearing a read chat recently? Looking in, Greg did a !XC. That doesn't do anything. Oh, that was for the ESU. That was the last read chat, just correcting that. Okay, so I'm trying to get through to see 14. All right, we'll go from, oh, that's not what I wanted. It's searching for the wrong term. I was at 4, I think. I was at that one, 7. said hello to David.
Read chat, please.
And then, oh, it's cycling around again. Chris Garrett did a read chat, trying to point me to something else. Dell Precision USB-C charge chat BIOS? I don't see any reason to do that, Chris. We already know that that computer needs more power than a USB port can deliver. Why would you be suggesting that? Any topics or emails for today? Arnold Albert trying to get me on track there. Let's give you some points for that. 500. Let's see, I mentioned the Sage 50. Steve Dodd and Sam Lazar apparently are not in chat. The problem with both of them is I worked with them by email quite a bit.
Chat, please.
But they are interesting topics. So maybe I'll give you a rundown of those, a summary of those. You can't enable the charge in BIOS for a computer that needs more power than USB can provide. No, that's not going to work. I think you probably missed something. Yeah. Arnold said the 13 emails. Yeah, a lot of those emails were emailing back and forth between certain individuals. So the names in those emails is, count them, Steve Dodd, Karen Gill, Sam Lazar, Return Amazon. Yeah, just 4 names, if you can count Return Amazon. Okay, it's a quick thing to do this Amazon story for you. Let's see. You know what? Now let me do it this way. I'll bring you over to screen 3 because I'll never accidentally hit monitor 3 and bring up something that I shouldn't. Your Amazon card has been charged. Retro charge summary. They expected but not received. I wanted to return these boots because I don't like the way that the upper clips are. They're just too difficult to tighten. Please. So I wanted to return them. I did return them. I took them to that, was it some kind of Whole Foods? Is that what it's called? Some kind of food store, grocery store. And then they said not expected but received. They claim to have received these boots. I still have these boots. I did not return these boots. I asked to return these. I went into the store, gave them the QR code for returning these boots. When they received them, somehow they identified on their end that the boots they received was this one. That's just a weird, different kind of Amazon anomaly. Another weird Amazon anomaly, a client ordered a product through Amazon, and on the same day, the same delivery, the U.S. Postal Service brought 3 packages. The postman came to his door, said, look, 2 of these are fraudulent. I know they're fraudulent. I need you to refuse them. 2 of them had an amount due that exceeded the cost of the original product. So the vendor had tried to send 2 extra shipments to him and collect the money COD. I connected remotely to my client's computer. We went into his Amazon account. I showed him that vendor, that it was shipped from the vendor, not shipped from Amazon, and it was sold by the vendor, not sold by Amazon. So I trained my client about that, and I trained him about looking at the stars and reading the reviews. It was a 2-star vendor, and the reviews were critical about shipment never received, box was empty, stuff like that. So yeah, when you're ordering stuff from Amazon, always better to try to find things that are sold by Amazon and shipped from Amazon. I think I heard a read chat, please, that I haven't got to. Did I? Yeah. Did Sam fix the problem for reinstall Windows on his laptop? Let me bring up Sam's last email. I'm going to go make sure that that is his last email. Because I was discovered this morning for Steve Dodd, I had not got his most recent emails. Let's see that. Let's go check and make sure those 4 are flagged for today. Not all of them. So there, I'll fix that. And then if I look at his most recent, now, see, he has given me the green light for exposing his email address and even his business phone number, but I've had videos taken down for exposing my contacts list. Oh yeah, this was about the SSD. He said that, oh yeah, I remember where this is at now. I can just summarize it for you. His original issue was that after a Windows update, he could no longer boot to his SSD. And it was a Samsung 990, 980, something like that. So the place where that's at now is he has returned that to the store that he bought it from. If they test it and find that yes, indeed it is faulty, then they will replace it, or they'll send it in to Samsung for a replacement. And I sent him an email saying, here on August 19th, I sent him an email saying, I'm going on record to say I think they will find it as not faulty. I am eager to hear back. And I have not heard back from that. And then he sent a link to that video that somebody brought up, I think during the collaboration with Carrie on Tuesday, or it might have been last Saturday's show. Oh no, it was in, maybe it was in my comments about SSDs that were having problems with the recent update. And the chart showed that specifically named his SSD, the one that Sam was using, as not being a problem. So that's the latest I've heard. Now, what he has done to fix it is he's just reinstalled Windows on another drive. So the question, has he fixed the problem for reinstalled Windows? Yeah, he just used another drive and reinstalled Windows. But we don't have an answer about what happened with that drive. So that's Sam's issue. Let's see, participants currently that are gaining 50 points per minute. Ken Stout, Darren Gilholm, Doug Bott, Greg M., DougBetts, Lom Dog, Ran Israel Scott, and Selden Ball. I'm holding my mouse right here because I think shortly that list is going to get a little bit longer. If anybody cares to pop up in chat and make themselves active again. Anybody? Anyone? Bueller? There we go. Somebody came in. Was that Selden? No, John Downey. Must have been John Downey, because I see John Downey recently on chat. All right. Now, let me get to the other poison with Steve Dodd. I had trouble with a typo that he had on a message where, let's see, I got to read. And again, I'd have to do a lot of preparation to be able to bring up his text. I'd have to pull it out to hide all of his the occurrences of his email address. It's 50 minutes. Oh yeah, here. So he's on a Insider channel, and he's having troubles with that. And one of his messages, as we were conversing through this is not describing the whole conversation, but just this one about a typo. Something strange happened at 12:49 Eastern Standard Time. Windows updated the NIC to the dev channel from the release preview. I don't know how this happened since I was sleeping. Can I just uninstall this update or restore from my full image backup? I looked at that and I read it over a few times. Windows updated the NIC, network interface card. So updated a driver for his Ethernet adapter to the dev channel. No, that's not even a thing. Update the driver for his network interface card from the release preview channel to the dev channel. My head was just, what? So I responded back to him. I did some research through AI. AI said Microsoft sometimes pushes specific driver updates to a broader range of testers in different channels to gather more data. So from that, I was saying, okay, do they take a driver for his network interface card from the dev channel and push it out to the what do they call it, preview channel, whatever? So I sent that back to him. And then there was a couple other messages, and then he finally comes back and says, my reference to the NIC was a typo. I meant NUC. He has a NUC computer, which he told me at the beginning of all this, NUC, and he typed NIC. They're right next to each other on the keyboard, please. Right? But I didn't get it. John Downey says, I have an SSD from an old HP. It's in an HSB-C USB-C enclosure. U and H are on the same finger for touch typists. I got that one. It's only a level 2 migraine. Is there a way I can boot using this drive with my Dell? You want to boot from a USB-C enclosure. I've never tried doing that. It seems like I've seen some.
Chat, please.
I'll come back to that in a moment. Z. Let's. I've never tried doing that, but I've seen some comments along those lines that make me think maybe it's possible. Oh, how is his? Oh, I see. Because no, if I open this up, that is Steve's email, but that'll just bring focus to that window over on that monitor. It won't bring it up on stream. Okay, let's go to new chat. At some point, people are saying, Doug, every time you get a question, you just go right to AI. Why don't we do it ourselves? Well, you could, but AI is often wrong. And the things that I have caught it wrong, I find a lot of times it's my experience and knowledge in the industry that allows me to be able to see that it's wrong. Oh, I just realized this token count over here. I guess this shows if I'm running up against a limit for using this. I don't know. I haven't paid attention to how much it's incrementing. So I'm at 3,000 of 1 million. Does it increment by 1 each time I ask another question? I don't know. That was a pretty long response, it seemed like. Is there a way I can boot using this drive from my Dell? Of course. Let's break this down. Short answer is yes. Technically possible, very unlikely to work smoothly, not recommended as a long-term solution. Better and safer to use this drive to access your old files. Even if you could get it to boot off the USB, if you're actually running programs off of that as a boot drive, it seems problematic. So I'm not going to read through all of this now because I know it's too long, but I'll just pause at each of these. If there's something in here that you spot that you think is significant for me to focus on, why booting will likely fail, the major hurdles, hardware drivers, licensing and activation, safer alternative, connect the drive to your running Dell. That just sounds like opening a can of worms. And I am no stranger to opening a can of worms. I have them for breakfast. Okay, we're at 3082. Am I going to remember that? No. Am I going to remember where I put my pin? There it is. Token count. Oh, I know the other thing to talk about is my explorations with NAS. I have spent some time on my NAS, and I have spent some time considering the configuration and researching configuration issues for my client using a NAS. And I at the moment am up against a roadblock. Now, for those of you who watched the collaboration with Carrie and I on Tuesday, I don't think he's going to know the answer to this because it has to do with security issues that he doesn't really have much experience as far as I can tell in that. So I need to give you a summary of that. But here we've looked at the AI result for that, and there was a read chat, please, for another. Oh, was it John's? Oh no, Zvi's was the read chat I was still owing. Let's give John some love for that. Oops, at symbol. Good question. Fair question. Worth asking. Confirming your points were awarded. Zivi, did you mean the problem caused by Microsoft update that Jay's 2 cents posted 3 days ago? Now, I need to, how did I determine was the right way to do this? To do this as a left click or right? I think it was a problem if I copy it. So I'm going to go left click. Important warning, the latest Windows update, do not install. Recent Windows update caused major problems for SSDs running on Phison controllers. Users are reporting crashes, slowdowns, even drive disappearing. It could be that same issue. I haven't researched up enough on that issue to know it. Phison controllers. The controllers are built into the SSD itself. A particular, as I understand, a particular make and model of SSD, such as the Samsung 990, two of them side by side, created during different batch runs, maybe in different production facilities, could have different controllers. The controllers are built into them. That's the information I came across. I can't say that I've verified it, but that's a piece of information that was a little bit surprising to me because I thought, well, can't you go look up the technical specs for any particular model of drive? And the response was no, because they not necessarily all use the same controller. Let's do a little thing here. If you are on the premium YouTube, it shows up here in the upper left-hand corner, right up there. If you're on the premium version, you can use this ask button. If you're not on the premium version, you don't get the ask button. You can summarize the video. I find that to be very useful. And you can ask questions. Did they talk about such and such during the video? Lots of ways to find information that you want. Bison, affected drives, Western Digital, Corsair, Crucial A Data, Skinks, so on. Let's see if he's got the list in here. Probably, wouldn't you think? Yeah, I don't see it. Affected drive. A list of the specific SSD is provided, including where. So maybe it was during this portion of the video. Oh yeah, here's the list. Samsung 990 Pro, that did not cause the problem. This 990 Pro is what he had, Sam, except that it might have been 4 terabyte. I'm not sure on that. Okay. Back to the chat. Oh, probably about ready to give you my rundown about my NAS. Greg M says Phison has said they are aware of the issue. Darren Gilholm gives, oh, there's a bunch of links in there. Are these links for me to get to? Darren Gilholm given the same link over and over and over. Okay, I'm not going to try to figure out what's going on there. People so obsessed with USB-C charging laptops. It's nice for thin laptops, but power-hungry game, it's much better to use a good barrel jack. You can't, it's not an option. You can't, power-hungry laptop, you can't charge them with USB. They don't provide enough power. Not going to happen, as I understand. Okay. I've had my own developments for the NAS and my clients' developments for myself. I'm not up against any brick walls. But actually I discovered through this, because when I went to sign into this, I discovered that I had lost track of where I put the password for it. Turns out that I put it into RoboForm. Duh. But before I looked at that, I went and found out how to reset to factory state. And what I found, there's a reset button on the back. Hold a paperclip in there, or I used a SIM removal tool for 4 seconds until you hear a beep. And then next time you connect to it, it's going to ask you to put in a new password for the administrator account. But it's not going to delete any of your data. All of your data is still there. And although I haven't confirmed this, I'm quite certain of it. All of your user accounts that you have set up are there. All of your security restrictions that you put into place for any particular folders are there. But now, since you've been able to put in a new administrator account, what that means is that if this device gets stolen, the thief can simply do that reset and then log into it, give it a new administrator password, and have access to everything. That's a security breach I'm not willing to put into my clients' offices. So then I started looking into encryption. on Synology NAS. Yes, it has encryption available, but it is not a drive encryption the way Windows does. It is a folder encryption. You can identify folders that you want to have encrypted. That's a problem because when you encrypt a folder, it is encrypting the file names and the folder names. It's not encrypting at the bit level the way that Windows drive encryption does or BitLocker does. The problem with that is I created a folder as an encryption folder, and then I tried to copy files to it. It was a folder that contained backups, backup image files. Copy those over, and I came across an error right away because there's a limit of 143 characters for a file name in encrypted folders. And I said, well, these are less than 143 characters. Well, even though it says a limit of 143 characters, I think that's the right number, for file names, it means file path, the entire path and the file name. And yeah, they did exceed that. So it gave suggestions how to get around it. But no, that's a non-starter, because what I want to do is copy my client's current data storage to the encrypted folders. They have massive, deep levels of subfolders and subfolders and subfolders. We're not going to be able to copy those and abide by those limits. And then also in pursuing that, I found that the NAS has a limit of 256 for the path name and file names. I think it's possible that Windows may have that same problem, and I think my clients, when they exceed that level, I think they're being told that their file name is too long and they have to make it shorter. I'm not certain about that. But I've had issues where I do a FABS auto backup and then try to copy that to a location on the server, and I get a fail message about file name too long or file path too long. And then I have to go fix that, and I generally can fix it because there's not very many of them that are that long. But this limit of 143 characters, that's like way too small. Now, I'm pretty sure it's that if I can implement the encrypted folders on the Synology and get my client data over to them, that if the device got stolen, there's not just stolen, there's also a risk even still not being stolen. If it got stolen, they reset the administrator password, those folders would still be protected. And even the administrator of the Synology would not be able to get into those encrypted folders, I think. Now, the other environment is, it's apparently a common or recommended practice to disable the admin account if you're looking to have a secure environment and have some other account name that has administrator rights. That's a member of the administrator's group to administer the device. What that means to me is that if a evildoer, let's just call him that as a nickname, first name evil, last name doer. If an evildoer is employed in the office, let's say, or it's some kind of a service person who gets into the area where a NAS is located with evil intent and knows about this, and the IT person in the office has deactivated the admin account and uses some other account. Well, it seems to me that this evildoer could use that reset button, hold it for 4 seconds, hear a beep. That's gonna cause the device to reboot, which means people will lose their connection. And the guy says, oops, sorry, I must have hit the power button or power cord or something. Sorry. Or is doing this after hours. The device reboots. Now he's got to be first to connect to the device to set the admin password. And that means connecting to the device through a browser. For people who have a drive letter mapped to it, if they're mapped to a encrypted folder, they're going to be prompted to enter the passphrase for the encrypted folder. And they know that. That's normal procedure. Anytime the NAS gets restarted, you have to re-enter the password for each encrypted folder. There's no way to automate that I've found that is still secure. Okay, but they know that's going to happen when it gets restarted. The first person who actually browses to the IP address is going to get the opportunity to create a new admin password. So the culprit could put in a new password for the admin account and have forever access to the admin account, because it's likely that the IT administrator in that office is never going to go check to see or notice that the admin account has been reactivated. Or the evildoer could then go create another account and give himself admin rights and then go back and deactivate the admin account. So there's some security issues there I'm not okay with. Now, I fear that Carrie's going to think that I'm too overly concerned about this, but no, we have a different stance on security. I don't see that happening. I got to find a way around that or to deal with that. Okay, I don't see anything in chat coming up regarding the NAS issue, so I'm going to assume that's not much of a interest. Looks like Jeff was sleeping through the show. We're at 12:30. Interesting. Yeah, I thought that was weird. How did I get the XP lead back? Ken got the XP lead back for Windows. Yeah. Let's see. Did he do a bunch of stuff, or did somebody else just drop off? We need to go over to top fans to see that with 225. 150, 150, 150, 150. Wow, a lot of people tied at 150. Wow, this leaderboard's got 22 people, and I'll bet you active participants does not have that many. No, it does not. So what did Ken do? Did he do a lot of stuff recently? I don't get timestamps on this screen, so I can't tell. Dropped off the XP list as well. Wait, did he drop off the leaderboard completely and then get back to position 1? That's hard to believe. Oh well, enough for that. It's all about Ken. Ken has seen them up to 50 on the leaderboard. Probably not on my channel. I don't know that I've had that many on a live stream. Do I? How many do I have now? 43. But 43 watching does not mean 43 in chat. So is this everybody who has chatted? Does this mean there have been 22 people who have chatted at all? Does it cover everybody on this list? If anybody does not see their name on this list, could you let me know that? I'd like to know if, and they are well, no, they aren't alphabetical. I thought they were alphabetical earlier. No, they're numerical order, duh. It's the participants list. That's alphabetical, right? It's participants list. This is alphabetical. Yeah. Look in the studio will show the current people watching. Why not? Shows it here. That says 43 watching. The studio may show a different number, 43 watching. Why would I want to go to studio instead of the video? Does that matter any? I doubt it. Just trying to be controversial. Daniel Emberley. I've been thinking about computer data and access for remotely located errors. Another situation where file path length could be an issue. Errors. I'm thinking of people who are going to inherit your beneficiaries in your will. I don't think that's what you meant. I have been thinking about computer data and access for remotely located. What's the typo there? I don't think that's what she meant. Another situation where file path could be an issue. Yeah, I'll wait till that gets updated. Ken says go to analytics. So I'm on analytics. So chat rate, views 138, average view depth. Why do I care about this? Chat rate is the chat rate of the stream at the most recently available time. 7 chats, what, per minute? Rate. And then this shows, I think, the concurrent viewers, yeah. Chat rate, if I change that, chat rate was spiked here. I guess that's I think it's probably per minute. And then views. All right, let's go see the recent read chats are. On the topic of long file names, robocopy will copy longer path file names than xcopy. Okay. Will that get her? I doubt that that'll get around the limitation for NAS encryption, but that could be useful for my issue with copying Fab's auto backups, because I do Fab's auto backup and that works fine, but that's going into a subfolder of a subfolder. When I copy that to another location, it's got all of those subfolder parts of the path name that cause a trouble. It's not very often that I do that. How can I cue myself to remember that when I need it? I need to get that to on a note at my server. Okay, I see your comment, Daniel. I'll follow up on that in a minute. I'm going to send myself an email. Let's see, from Jeff Ryman. And paste that. And I want to put a note of this on the server where I'm having trouble with copying Fab's auto backup folders. Send that to myself. And then at Jeff. That'll get you 1,000 points. You may have solved an issue for me there. David Graham, I had an emergency. Did you answer my question? I missed the last 15 minutes. Let's roll back to that in a minute. And Daniel says, yes, estate planning. I've been thinking about computer data and access for remotely located errors. Another situation where file path could be an issue. So you want them to be able to access your data. You want to be able to access their data. Are you trying to identify certain data that either side wants to make available in the event of their passing? How can I help? What do you have a specific question? You actually are just saying you're thinking about it. It's not actually a question. So see if you can formulate a question there, if you have one. So David Graham had an emergency. Did I answer his question? Did we answer his question? Let's go see what his question might have been. Something weird happened to me yesterday. Is this what you refer to as a question? It wasn't posed as a question. This one, something weird happened to me yesterday on my Edge browser. The same thing. Is that a question? Or this one? What would happen if you? Yeah, we did answer that one. We did answer that one. No, that would not be a problem at all. We went to the AI for that, and I'll go bring that up on screen. Let's see, where was that? That wasn't here. If I go to history, USB charging power requirements, was that it? He said, yeah, basically no, it won't. Let's go to the next prompt. Let's see, that wasn't it. Oh yeah, there. What would happen if you put a power supplying USB into USB-C port? Would it let the smoke out, right? Yeah. No, it would not. No, it won't. Almost certainly will not. Do we trust? I think so. The engineers who designed the standards anticipated this exact scenario because that would be a pretty easy thing to do accidentally. The system is specifically designed to be smart. The magic is a USB-C handshake negotiation. They say, hello, there's a role negotiation. What are you going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. And who's in charge? His name is Charles. Dedicated source, battery levels, a bunch of stuff that goes on. This is not just connecting two electrical connections. So yeah, we did answer it. Oops, I got to give you the rest of that, I guess. Cheap junk exception. Okay, almost always. The entire safety system relies on all components, the device ports, charger, and especially the cable, being built correctly and adhering to USB implementers forum standards. This is where the risk comes in. We missed this earlier, so you brought us back to this. Non-compliant or faulty hardware, a poorly made, uncertified charger or cable from a shady brand. Don't buy from Ken Stout Live. No. Might not perform the negotiation correctly. Ken likes being under the bus. Come on, you know that. It might ignore the rules, short out internally, or send a high voltage down the line without asking. Damaged cable ports. A physically damaged cable or port with internal shorts can bypass any safety protocol and cause immediate damage. Let's see. I'll come back to that, David. This is why I let the smoke out horror stories exist. It's almost never the fault of the USB-C standard itself, rather the fault of cheap out-of-spec accessory. Golden rule, always use high quality. Okay, and that was David Graham. I don't know if I gave you points on that before, but I'll go ahead and throw some more on you. And I've seen the recent chats that I need to go catch. And hello, Carrie Holzman. But there was a read chat prior to that. David Graham, in reference to the theft problem, I asked why not just lock the NAS away. This NAS is going to be it would be a rack mount NAS. The rack is currently located in the bookkeeper's office. There is no way to lock it. We'd have to very much restructure her office and then deal with cooling considerations. That's a heck of a lot of work for something we should not have to do. So is a NAS that much benefit to justify that extra inconvenience, loss of space utilization, inconvenience of access, because every time I want to access the rack, I'm going to have to go unlock the door. We're going to have that key secured somewhere. It can't just be easily available. So no, I don't think so. Carrie says, including admin reset, power off on failed drives, unusual activity. Oh, notification from the NAS can alert via SMS or email about any active events. Okay. Does that include the reset button being depressed? So programming and testing against that might be an acceptable protection, including admin reset, power off on. Okay, that's testable. I could test that. That could be an acceptable solution. So let's throw Carrie some love. I'm going to capture those and send those to me by email. Let's see, I should actually do the whole line. The line, the whole line, and nothing but the line. Yeah. Walking the line. No, I don't want to send that to Carrie. I want to send it to me. Doug. Such a Doug. Call it possible NAS solution, security solution. And paste those two. Okay. I can see reasonable to test that. Yeah, Martin, go ahead and ask your Macrium question. So now we're kind of beyond the realm of questions for actual problems people are having with Windows computers, because I think we've covered them. So this looks like maybe a curiosity question. So yes, go for it. Go for question. Thank you, Carrie. Jeff Ryman, what's this one? How to overcome long file path issues with Robocopy. By using Robocopy, I imagine. Okay, so let's grab Control-C that, Control-C that, and send myself an email for this. I get so much junk email from myself. I didn't say for myself, I said from myself. And I just pasted that for the subject line and paste that into the body and paste the link into the body of the email. And this was, I neglected to capture no, not that. All right, I got to get back down to it. Was it Jeff? He did me an orange. Yeah, Jeff. I don't have to say what the date was of the show because that will be the same as the email that I'm sending to myself. I'm going to throw you some 500 there. There was something else I was supposed to just get back to. If notification changes are changed, a notification setting can alert you to that as well. Yeah, great. I will. Oh, the Macrium question is what we're looking for. So, do we have that yet? Yes, if reset is pressed, the notification setting will go out and configured. Yeah, I can test that. You set up notifications, configure how. That's I think that might just be the ticket. Awesome. To Doug from AI Doug. And eventually I'll have a button that I can just press that just automates stuff like that. So I haven't heard from Martin yet. So we did look at that. Go put a hole in the shower wall. What is he on about now? You've had 138 total views thus far, so you could have 50 on the XP board had everyone commented. Chat rate is yet another YouTube mystery. Is it? Is there something ambiguous about that? Chat rate. So this graph is showing the chat rate at any particular minute, I think. And all of these are showing there's 30 minutes. This isn't actually showing what minute it is, but all we'd have to do for that is, like, if we go to the 12 o'clock minute and count how many chat messages there are at that minute,
Read chat,
then
please.
it should correspond to what's on this graph for that minute. Ken says your current chat is showing 1. Where are you seeing that? Over here, maybe? Yeah, here. So let's see if there was 37, 36, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32. Yeah, I don't see any of those recently that show 1 chat message at a, oh, here it is, 12:49. At 12:49, there was only 1 chat message. So that's what that 1 was. This one where it was 1, that was 12:49. And then the next one would be 12:50. So see, as I go just a little bit to the right, so the next minute after that, 12:50, should be 5 messages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, chakalaka. No mystery. Total sense. Here's Martin's question. I have a full drive clone on external SSD of laptop internal drive using Macrium. Is it possible to extract the files, only not the operating system, onto another external drive? Absolutely. Absolutely. I saw Carrie chimed in. It says no reason to clone. Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm saying that. What I'm seeing here is Martin has a clone on an external drive. It's an image. It's not a clone. Clone on external SSD. Well, do you mean an image or a clone? If you mean a clone, it's a separate drive that you could put that drive into the computer and boot the computer on it. It's a complete mirror copy of your source drive at some point in time. Now all you have to do is connect that by USB and just use Windows Explorer to drag the files across. But I think you probably mean you have an image file on an external SSD of the laptop internal drive. Is it possible to extract the files only, not the operating system? Yes, absolutely. You mount it within Macrium Reflect, and I can show you how to do that live right now. That last read chat, clone, open file system, image, clone equals open file system, image equals closed file that needs to be mounted to access its content. Okay, reasonable, yeah. As long as a person understands what you mean as an open file system, basically you can connect it by USB to your computer and just, it's another drive on your computer. You just access it like it's a USB drive and you can maneuver through the folders. They're completely visible, which is what he means by it's open. If it's an image, it's a file on the drive. So I'll show how to do that. I'm going to hit Windows key, Reflect, press Enter. That'll launch my Macrium Reflect. And this will work even with the a free version. Yes, there is still a free version available. It's a few versions old. There's a little trick of the wrist to doing that. But existing backups. So all of these are backups here. I could take any one of these. I could even take the incrementals or differentials and browse the backup. And this is going to get me all of the prior backups, including the full backup. So it doesn't only give me access to what's in that incremental backup. See, that incremental backup is teeny tiny. So then browse, and then pick which of the partitions I want to browse. I can enable access to restricted folders if I want to. I can make it writable if I want to. However, any changes are temporary. So it's kind of like, what's the purpose? Then click OK. It's assigning drive letters. Drive letter I. And I took that off just on the case that it opens up into a folder that has client names and such. And no, it does not. Seeing if we're all okay there. Yeah, we're all good. So here it mapped it as the I drive. Now I have the entire folder structure. And I can browse through it. And I could open another tab in File Explorer, and let's come to a folder here somewhere and create a new folder. I know I could have done that better. Then come back to here and just take one of these. I'll take this batch folder. This is on that I drive, so it's a mounted image. And then choose copy. Come up here to new folder, right click and choose paste. And there. So I've taken the files from the image and copied it to another drive. And that was Martin, right? Go to your last. Yeah. So let's give you some points for bringing a, I don't know, is that just a curiosity question or is that an actual problem you're facing, a need that you're facing? Does that answer what you need, Martin? And anytime you want to ask a question, just ask it. You don't have to ask if you can ask a question. And best to do an !C. And if somebody else had given me an !C saying that, hey, Martin has a question at such and such timestamp, they would have got points for that. My microphone is bouncing because I'm hitting the desk with my arm. Overtime. Oh, it's 12:58. Not overtime yet, but yeah, we're close. No, I don't think we're going to be doing overtime. We're not into any topic that's going to go on and on, but I'd sure like to see a response from Martin. Some backup tools, shave or share a separate image explorer tool alongside instead of the mount option. Martin, you're welcome. So I'm going to assume that means yes, it did help. Didn't actually say that. Fair assumption, I think. All right, let's put this to bed. Look at this, right on time. There's the email address if you want to send a question by email. You can leave a comment on any of my videos. You can ask a question in the chat room. And I see that as right now, 12:59 and 48 seconds. Fingers on the button. There it is. There's 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Boom.
That's all, folks.
Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you dream. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tune in 6 days a week for Windows. Join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you've dreamed. Join the fun.